was that pick, 146? We thought it was good value at 146. We have good process, okay? And if you'd have told me, let's see, we picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
What do you get when you mix Shannon Sharpe, a mic, and two clueless Browns execs? A verbal BBQ nobody saw coming. Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry thought they were running the show until Shannon showed up with receipts, shade, and a whole lot of smoke. Was he ever their pick? Or just the smartest guy in a very dumb room? Buckle up, because Uncle Shay's Shay is about to peel back the curtain, and it's messier than a Cleveland playbook.
Owner Jimmy Haslam felt the need unprompted to tell the media yesterday that Shedeur Sanders was not. I asked him that. Why did he feel the need to share that information, Ocho? Nobody. That's what unprompted. So you dry snitching. Ain't nobody asked you what round did you think you was going to take Shedeur in? Why did you take? Nobody asked you that.
Yeah.
And so he felt the need, and I get it. Yes, he's the owner, but it's like I'm like, bro, if you feel this way about Shedeur, why y'all still got the man?
If you're enjoying, please subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you think. Just when you thought the Cleveland Browns couldn't embarrass themselves any further, here comes Shannon Sharpe, tearing through the franchise like a tornado through a discount tent sale. This isn't even a roast anymore. It's an exorcism. Shannon didn't just call out Jimmy Haslam. He walked right into the boardroom with a flamethrower, torched the coffee machine, and said, "This the guy making decisions." Because apparently Jimmy Haslam took one look at Shedeur Sanders, shrugged, and kept it pushing. The same Shedeur who's got NFL scouts pacing like nervous dads in a maternity ward.
I have a question for the chat, and Uncle and Joe, I'm not sure if y'all know, how long has Jimmy Haslam been with the Cleveland Browns?
A long ass time.
A long time. So since 2000, the Cleveland Browns have had 35 different starting quarterbacks since 2000. 35 different starting quarterbacks, but now you're going to take it upon yourself to say that Shedeur Sanders wasn't your pick. And that's probably why it's going to work. Because you had no dealings in him being drafted. Watch how God work. Watch how God work.
What about all them other picks you had? Who picked were they?
His. But listen, he never came out before and said this before about anybody else. Never did this before.
How is it even possible that someone running an NFL team can look at one of the most electrifying quarterback prospects in recent memory and go, nah, I'm good? Did Haslam get hit in the head with a goalpost? Was he watching cricket game film instead? You don't just glance over Shedeur Sanders. You study him like he's the answer key to your franchise's decades-long test of mediocrity.
Train of thoughts. Let me give you the first one. The first one is he could be speaking to the city of Cleveland as if to say, don't blame me for this one. That is the man that gave Deshaun Watson guaranteed $230 million, which right now is going down as arguably the worst trade in NFL history.
But here's Jimmy Haslam, acting like Shedeur's just another name on a spreadsheet. Right between a punter from Montana and the janitor's nephew who once threw a spiral. Shannon Sharpe, who's seen enough bad football in Cleveland to last 3 lifetimes, finally had enough. And honestly, it's about time somebody called out this franchise's brain trust or whatever's left of it after years of turning quarterbacks into trivia questions.
Hey, when I look at it, Uncle Ocho, I just like how the young man going about himself, man. Shedeur. You know what I mean? Like, there's no better way to go about this than keep your head down and keep working, bro. I think he's been doing a phenomenal job at that. Obviously, I think everybody's been keeping up with what's been going on in Cleveland. I know I have, and he looks comfortable out there first and foremost, and he looks like he's still enjoying the game, man. And I think this is just more, fuel to the fire as opposed to it's gonna help him out throughout the regular season or throughout his season or throughout his NFL career in general.
And let's not forget Andrew Berry, who somehow manages to look both confused and overconfident at the same time. It's like the Browns GM room is run by a group project where no one read the assignment, but still argued over who gets to present. Shedeur Sanders is the guy who shows up with the PowerPoint, the data, and the fireworks. And they're still asking if he played tight end in high school. Make it make sense. You've got Shannon Sharpe, a Hall of Famer who's been around greatness, shouting from the rooftops that this wasn't his pick, that he wasn't interested in whatever clown car logic led to Haslam side-eyeing Shedeur like he's just a guy. It's one thing to fumble a draft pick, it's another thing entirely to fumble reality. The Browns have officially entered their delusional era, where greatness is suspicious and mediocrity gets a 5-year deal in a welcome basket. This isn't just bad management, this is management so bad it needs its own Netflix documentary. How to Ruin a Team in 10 Press Conferences, starring Jimmy Haslam and guest starring Andrew Berry in the role of Guy nodding in the background. Shedeur is walking around with poise, precision, and a football IQ that could power a spaceship, and these guys are acting like he's a wild card.
I don't get this. That was an Andrew Berry's pick, and just like the guys that play, that's such and such. So all these quarterbacks that y'all had, and I mean, you had Baker. So whose pick was Baker? And Baker, look, Baker had a decent, and he got injured, and for whatever reason, Baker's telling the story. They wanted him to tone it down a little bit and wouldn't let him be himself. And you see Baker is like himself in Tampa, and he's thriving now.
Yeah.
Does he have a better collection of wide receivers around him in Tampa than he had in Cleveland? Yes, he does.
It's not even just about the football anymore. It's the optics, the audacity, the sheer, unfiltered confidence of a franchise that hasn't earned the right to turn up their nose at a water boy, let alone a generational QB talent. Shannon Sharpe sees it. Fans see it. The only people who don't seem to see it are the ones making the actual decisions. It's like they're living in a parallel universe where up is down, good is bad, and the Browns are somehow allergic to competence. And let's not pretend like the Browns haven't needed a Shedeur-type quarterback for the past, forever. Every season it's the same cycle. A hint of hope, a couple of wins, then a collapse so dramatic you'd think they were being coached by Shakespeare. And when a player like Shedeur walks in, charisma, leadership, arm talent, swagger, they act like he's crashing their party instead of saving it. It's almost like the Browns are afraid of competence. Like functional quarterback play might trigger an existential crisis. Wait, we're winning games? What do we do now? And Haslam's answer is to pretend none of it exists. Just close your eyes, clap your hands, and maybe Shedeur disappears like a bad dream. But Shedeur ain't disappearing. He's only getting louder, bigger, better. And now that Shannon's dropped the truth bomb, everyone's scrambling.
And I talk to a lot of people in the world of sports, a lot of power brokers, a lot of people that are decision makers and whatever. I heard a lot about what was going on with Shedeur Sanders coming into the draft. And I will contest to you, I will proclaim to you on national television that so much of what happened to Shedeur Sanders at draft day to drop to the 144th pick, a 5th rounder, when initially he was projected to be a top 2 or 3 quarterback taken in the draft, to all of that to happen to him. That was a slight, those were people that were hell-bent on making sure that Deion Sanders didn't get his way. And they went and they punished his son to punish him. Deion knows it, I know it, anybody with sense know it, we've all heard it covering this league.
Fans aren't just side-eyeing the franchise, they're flat out grilling it. Because if you're not interested in Shedeur Sanders, who exactly are you interested in? Another recycled veteran with a limp throwing motion and a mentor label? Someone whose most exciting play is a hard count? Spare us. This isn't Madden 2006. We're not going back to pocket passers with 0 mobility and 0 pulse. The league is evolving, and Shedeur is the evolution. And don't even get started on the locker room vibe. You think those players don't hear this? You think young talent around the league isn't side-eyeing Cleveland like it's a football graveyard? Shedeur is the kind of player who attracts stars. He brings spotlight, swagger, and that it factor teams dream about. But Haslam's out here acting like they're better off passing. on purpose. That's not just bad business. That's self-sabotage dressed in a tailored suit and an ownership badge.
But I don't get why Jimmy Haslam felt the need to take this shot at Shedeur. Oh, if you'd have told me we was gonna take him, I was like, that's not gonna happen, or whatever he said. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, why did he feel the need to say that, Ocho?
Listen, you know what they trying to do? You know what they trying to do?
Trying to break his confidence?
Trying to break him. They use the draft. Okay.
Shannon knows the game. He's not ranting just to hear himself talk. He's pulling the fire alarm because this is a franchise sleepwalking into another decade of irrelevance. You don't turn your back on potential greatness unless you're either blind or scared. Because let's be honest, if Shedeur Sanders had come from anywhere else, if he didn't have that last name, if he wasn't this polished, this savvy, this ready, the Browns probably would have been drooling. But instead of welcoming that excellence, they're downplaying it, explaining it away, shrugging it off like a missed field goal. And Shannon Sharpe, bless his soul, is just saying what we're all thinking. How dumb can y'all be? But maybe that's the Browns brand now. Fumbling clarity, avoiding greatness, and clapping themselves on the back for doing the absolute least. Shedeur isn't just a missed opportunity, he's a reminder. A mirror. Shedeur Sanders, the QB who walks like a franchise player and talks like he's got decades of leadership in his DNA, is out here making defenders miss and dropping dimes in practice. And what did the Browns do? They treat him like he's trying out for mascot.
Jimmy Haslam called out his GM Andrew Berry so hard. Do you remember when the Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders? You remember, right? He fell all the way to the 5th round. It was a big deal. And the owners said at the end of the day, this is his quote, "That's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur." That's so awesome. It's so wrong also. A, it's wrong to throw your GM under the bus. B, it's wrong to throw him under the bus on something that they know, you know, everyone in the organization knows, everyone in the media knows. You are full of it. It's total.
It's almost poetic. The one guy who might finally bring some actual electricity to Cleveland is the same guy getting iced out by the people who need him most. You couldn't script this kind of dysfunction if you tried. Shannon Sharpe knows what time it is. He's watched enough football, caught enough touchdowns, and outsmarted enough defenses to know the real thing when he sees it. And Shedeur Sanders is that guy. And guess what? He's not the only one who sees it. Every day that Shedeur steps on the field, he proves he's the most exciting thing that's happened to the Browns since someone accidentally ordered a competent play caller. And yet, this organization continues to behave like they found him behind a vending machine. It's a masterclass in self-sabotage. And then comes Jimmy Haslam. Oh, Jimmy. Just when you thought the situation couldn't spiral any further into clown territory, the Browns owner decides to turn passive disrespect into full-blown public shade.
A breath of confidence to say that is the GM's call. It's like when the producers tell me, you know what, we're going to make this Kyle's call on where we're going to go in this particular conversation about the Cleveland Browns.
As if it wasn't already clear that the franchise didn't appreciate what they had, Jimmy comes along and practically pulls a not my guy moment, as if Shedeur wandered in off the street with cleats and a dream. Forget bad optics. This is an unforced fumble on national television. Imagine having a quarterback who oozes leadership, who's already building chemistry with teammates, who has actual fans talking excitedly about the Browns for once. And then going, yeah, but we're not that into him. It's like watching someone win the lottery and then rip up the ticket because the font wasn't pretty enough. Shedeur doesn't just look like a starter. He looks like a statement. And instead of embracing that, Cleveland's front office is busy squinting at the fine print. Make no mistake, Shedeur hears everything. He knows exactly what's being said, what's not being said, and most importantly, what's being avoided. He's the kind of guy who turns disrespect into motivation and public doubt into locker room fuel. If they think freezing him out is going to rattle his confidence, they might want to revisit his highlight reel. This man grew up under Deion Sanders. He doesn't just embrace pressure, he dares it to blink first.
The Browns owner, Jimmy Haslam, cutting Shedeur Sanders. Cutting him before he cuts him. We're going to dive deep into this because these comments from this owner are comments you never hear from an owner that is supporting the player, especially before the player has even played one game for that franchise. A lot of people went off on these comments because how do you go there before the player even shows you why he's there? The way to actually support Jimmy Haslam is saying, I'm empowering the people that I employ. That's what true power is, right? Delegation. I delegated this to Andrew Berry. You make the picks. Ain't you the GM? Yeah, well, shut it. Make the picks. I don't give a damn if you pick the same position. You pick 2 offensive tackles, I ain't tripping. Oh, you pick 2 quarterbacks. It's a little problem. Well, that worked out when RG3 and Kirk Cousins were picked. So look, it ain't the first time.
And the irony? While Haslam and his crew play checkers with press conferences, Shedeur's out there playing 4D chess with the entire system. He's making throws on the run, reading defenses like a seasoned vet, and commanding the offense with a level of maturity that's making veterans look over their shoulders. Even defensive players are quietly admitting, yeah, he's that dude. But sure, let's pretend this is just some fluke. Let's talk about the energy shift. You walk into training camp, and there's one guy everyone gravitates toward. One guy who's not just running drills, but setting the tone. That's Shedeur. His work ethic? Relentless. His focus? Laser sharp. He's not trying to make a splash. He is the splash. But instead of amplifying that momentum, the Browns' leadership is bottling it up like it's a liability. You want to know why everyone's talking about Shedeur? Because he plays like the future and carries himself like he's already seen it. He's unbothered by the noise, unimpressed by the critics, and totally locked in on proving everyone wrong, including, apparently, the owner of the team he plays for. It's not just disrespect at this point, it's sabotage wrapped in khakis and a lanyard. And what's worse, this narrative has turned into a self-own for the Browns. They could have been the heroes. They could have been the geniuses who took a chance on the guy who ends up changing the game.
Jimmy Haslam said he was driving home on Friday night. Never crossed his mind, that's after the 3rd round, that they were going to draft Shedeur Sanders the next day. When you draft a quarterback in the 3rd round, when you already have Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett on the roster, it makes absolutely no sense to draft another quarterback in that 2nd or 3rd day. And it felt like today, like, guys, I have nothing to do with this. They pick the players. I don't tell them to pick the players. This quarterback one, I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. He can say whatever he wants, and listen, you watch him talk, he's smooth at saying it. I just don't believe him, because I can't imagine a GM, given their situation, even from a money ball standpoint, it doesn't work like that at quarterback. This owner has proven to get involved. He got involved with Deshaun Watson, and I think it's pretty clear that he got involved.
But instead, they're playing gatekeeper at their own door, wondering why the party feels like a funeral. When Shedeur goes off, and he will, this franchise is going to look back and realize they fumbled a golden opportunity while holding it. Even fans are catching on. They see the plays. They see the body language. They hear the murmurs from the locker room. And they're starting to ask the question Cleveland never wants to answer. What if the Browns are ruining another quarterback before he even starts? It's deja vu with better hair and a cleaner spiral. Shannon Sharpe didn't just speak up for the fun of it. He knows what greatness looks like. He's seen what happens when you ignore it until it walks out the door and lights up another stadium. He's trying to stop the Browns from writing another chapter in their encyclopedia of regret. But Cleveland's too busy patting themselves on the back for being strategic, which apparently means closing your eyes and hoping the right answer punches you in the face. And now, Shedeur's got receipts. He's got fire in his veins and ice in his demeanor. He's not rattled. He's reloading. Every cold shoulder, every passive-aggressive comment, every awkward press answer is just adding fuel to the fire. This isn't just about playing time anymore. This is...
The Cleveland Browns owner just came forward and said that he did not want Shedeur Sanders. At the end of the day, it was all Andrew Berry idea, the general manager. Bruh, you the owner. He's just a general manager. So you have to say so either way it goes. But the fact that you blaming it on a black man and using him as a scapegoat is funny. But I'm not surprised. It's disgusting. And it's foul. I'm not going to act like racism don't exist. Because racism been around and it's still going to be around when I'm dead and gone.
Personal. He's about to show exactly why everyone else has been screaming his name, while his own franchise keeps pretending they're hard of hearing. But here's the plot twist. Shedeur doesn't need your permission to be a star. He doesn't need an owner's approval to drop 300 yards on your defense. He doesn't need a GM's blessing to take over a game. He just needs a field. And once that whistle blows, good luck pretending you didn't see it coming. So while the Browns continue to trip over their own shoelaces, Shedeur's lacing up his cleats with a smirk, ready to make every hater eat their offseason takes like soggy cereal. He knows who he is. Shannon knows who he is. The league knows who he is. It's just the Browns who haven't figured it out yet. And at this point, that's starting to feel less like ignorance and more like fear. Fear of change, fear of being wrong, fear of someone shining so bright it exposes just how dim their decision-making really is. But hey, keep sleeping on Shedeur. He'll wake you up soon enough, with a 60-yard bomb down the sideline and a glare so cold it might just thaw Cleveland's frozen logic.